Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Okay, David.
Mike, can you start with what went into your determination to make this move of Jalen Smith at this time of the season?
I mean, there's multiple factors obviously that go into these decisions, and that's definitely the case with Jalen. Just a lot of things to go through, but at the end of the day, I had a chance to visit with him last night. Very thankful for my time with him here. Obviously, talked about his experience here in Dallas, and we just felt that this was the best time to make this decision. Obviously, there's not really ever a good time for these type of decisions, but basically just with all the factors involved is why the decision was made yesterday.
What were those factors?
I'm not going to get into all the specifics of it. I mean, this is a big picture roster move. As far as us moving forward, we just felt that this was the right time.
How long has it had been in consideration? How long had it been in consideration?
I mean, you're evaluating your roster all the time. I mean, we had an extensive personnel meeting yesterday, and we talked through every single player on the roster, and so I mean, frankly, that's a normal process. I'm sure every team goes through. It's just once again, it was a big picture roster move, and we felt this was the time to do it.
Why not the beginning of the season, Coach?
Well, I just think just like anything. I mean, there's always factors involved of how you build your 90-man roster. How you go through training camp and get to the 53 and the extended practice squad. So I mean, all those things are involved. Jalen's an excellent football player. I mean, like I said, there's other factors involved in this decision. I mean, he played good football for us. In my time with him, he totally bought into the new direction, the program, everything we've done. The guy practices every single day, plays his ass off. I have nothing but respect for him.
Like I say, this determination is more about where you are as a defense now and where you're going and what his role would have been versus any dissatisfaction from him or not buying in.
Well, David, I mean, really, this wasn't an easy decision. I mean, he's a good football player. He's played excellent football here for a long time. So, but we have an offensive system. And I think it's clear now after 4 games how we're playing, and we just felt with all the factors involved that this was the decision that we needed to make.
In your experience over the years, when you make a decision about a guy like this who's been here for so long and has the relationships and the skins on the wall, do you have a message for the team about that? Do you leave it to the leadership council? If conversations need to be had about it, how do you approach that?
Well, I think it's just like anything. I mean, it's a constant conversation you have with your leadership council. It's just not, you don't call meetings when they're needed. So I think the direction of how we're approaching the season, the ability to develop a roster top to bottom, particularly with the young players, I think it's clear. You think of how we've gone about it the first 4 games. So I'm not trying to send a message to the locker room. That's not where we are. We're building on getting better every day. We've had some success last couple of weeks. We've got an excellent opponent coming in here, but this is about progress and a little more clarity of defensive packages and personnel groups and how we want to play.
Given the fact that you guys were already on the hook to pay him this year, was there any consideration to have a conversation with him about the fact that we may make you inactive, but this is the direction that we're moving? In other words, was there any consideration to find a way to keep him?
I think really, your question really falls under there are a lot of factors involved, and obviously when you have a lot of factors and variables involved, there's a lot of conversations that go on. So at the end of the day, this is where we are. Once again, it wasn't an easy decision, but it was a decision that we made, and we were moving forward.
Is this an indication, too, while you'll use Parsons a lot of different positions, is this an indication, you said he's primarily a linebacker, that he'll spend most of his time there, and will this open up some time for Jabril Cox as well?
Well, I mean, it's just like anything. If you're on the 53, and really if you're on the practice squad also with the exempt opportunity, I mean, everybody's available. I think we've proven that. We've shown that. We want to have competition throughout the week. I think that's very important, particularly with for as young as we are, and I want these players to see that they have an opportunity to continue to grow and hope to fight to get on, to have that opportunity on the 48. So, how that shakes out, and I mean this, it's really up to the players. That's up to all the young players, all the veterans. It's up to them to show and compete and to create the opportunity for themselves.
What was
So
his
we haven't
reaction?
seen Cox.
What was his reaction when you guys had your conversation last night? Was he surprised or anything like that?
Well, I mean, Jerry Jones sat down with him first. So I talked to Jalen after that. Extremely professional, very positive. Obviously had, great career here. Obviously has very strong ties to the organization and obviously the Dallas community. So, obviously those conversations are personal, but I thought he handled it very well.
We haven't seen Cox, obviously, defensively, but how has he looked in practice on the scout team and that kind of thing?
Getting better. He's done some good things on special teams, but he's got definitely room for improvement. So I think particularly this week now, I think all of our younger players that have played will be challenged moving forward. They're on tape now, so that's what the opponents give you. So he needs to be ready for that on the punt team. He was challenged 2 weeks ago, and he needs to learn from that experience.
COVID list updates as far as players coming off or players going on?
Yeah, right now we're same as Monday.
Stephen Gilmore got released today. That's Stephon Gilmore. So is that something of opportunity you guys can look at?
I can't comment. I'm not aware that he's officially been released.
Well, will Keanu practice and Anai, will they practice today?
Yeah, they'll both practice today. The amount is to be seen. Obviously coming off of their extended time away, so slated for 50%. But we'll see how that goes.
Like it appears Randy Gregory's playing like really good football. And when you look at him, and he's had all these stops and starts obviously to his career, including even this year really with the COVID situation, would it be fair or unfair to say he may be scratching the surface because again he seems to be playing so well?
I think that's fair. No, I can only comment on my time with Randy. I'm well aware of his past, but he brings it every day. He's focused, very attentive, very, very bright. So, I think just to, he's going to continue to work, and he's had the knee last week. So, I think just as far as his availability, and I do think the sky's the limit for him.
One more thing on Jalen. Have you talked to the team about the release? I don't know if you mentioned speak to it this morning, and I don't know if he was a popular player for some. I don't know if you worried about chemistry issues or whatever.
No, definitely. He's a popular player. I had a chance to visit with some players personally about it. I know there's some group conversations about it. The specifics of it, that's really for the privacy of those meeting rooms.
Dan talked about being a little concerned about big plays the other day. Looks like the Giants have something in the Ross. Can you talk a little bit about what you see him getting?
Yeah, definitely. He was available last week. Had the big play there in New Orleans. I really highlighted their whole perimeter group this morning in the profile tapes. So they have a lot of flexibility there. I think with Shepard, coming back. So I think it's a perimeter that can really challenge you. So I think they're number 3 in big plays in the league. So this will definitely be a challenge. It's a focal point. It's clearly a defensive objective going into the game.
When you look at what they are offensively with guys coming back and Saquon gaining more and more traction as he comes along, do you get much from the first couple of games of the season against them just because they've been kind of hit and miss on who's available and what they're doing and guys coming back?
Well, I think clearly their last opportunity was their best. I know they've lost 2 games with walk-off field goals, but I see a team that's ascending in their play style and their production. So, frankly, they've been more productive. If you look at last year and this year's statistics, they've been more productive in their away games. As far as total offense, total defense, and points. So, once again, we love these kind of games. These are the games that, these division games are awesome. Always enjoyed competing in them. So we're expecting a competitive environment. Sunday, second game, all those things. An opportunity to win 3 games in a row at home. Home field advantage is, something that, if you look around the league, is, the way teams have a better record now. So, just conscious of those things. So we're just sticking to the basics. love our opportunity, but this is a team that's definitely playing. I think they're playing better football than they did weeks 1 and 2.
Why do you think home field advantage isn't as great as it had been?
I think the at the line of scrimmage, the at the line of scrimmage, offenses, the tempo, just the utilization of cadence. I think that's really helped the away teams. I think the training of that, particularly the quarterbacks and perimeter guys, coming out of college. I mean, there's sometimes, there's college programs that don't even get in the huddle. So, I mean, I think the communication ability during the pre-snap and at the line of scrimmage is better built today in today's game for crowd noise. That's just my opinion.
You're talking earlier about the big plays that they make and some of the big plays you've given up defensively. Is some of that a correlation when you force more turnovers, you're going to take a few more risks that leave you open to giving up big plays, or do you accept that at all or say, no, that's...
No, not at all. I mean, I think they're, turnovers are big plays. I mean, we look at big play production, big play opportunities, taking the ball away is a big play. So our big plays do counteract the big plays we've given up, but, by no means are we, looking at that as acceptable or that's okay, So it's definitely a focus of ours.
You said Monday that no guys are really close to coming off the IR, but just out of curiosity, do you have an idea of where Michael Gallup is in his progress and what that's looking like?
He's making progress. I mean, I'm not going to give you timelines, but I think, he won't be available this week. I think he'd be hard pressed to be available in New England.
Watkins practice today.
Excuse me?
Watkins
Watkins, Watkins will practice today.
Will anyone else be held out today?
Got a couple guys just limiting their reps just to be smart, So, but nothing major that I feel is concerning as far as their availability for the game.
Will that be like Diggs and Amari limited or just?
You got some guys who are just limited. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.